Each of us plays a game where the rules are stacked against us. You work, you save, you invest. Yet at the end of the year, you discover that your 100,000 rubles aren't worth what they were in January. Inflation, like a silent thief, quietly empties your pockets. This isn't an accident. It's a systemic mechanism woven into the very fabric of the modern economy. Imagine Maria. For 3 years, she saved for a down payment on a mortgage. Every month, she set aside 30% of her salary. She denied herself vacations, new clothes, and restaurant outings. Then, just as the sum was almost complete, real estate prices soared by 20%, and her savings depreciated by 10%. 3 years of discipline and sacrifice were wiped out by the decisions of a few individuals in offices she never saw. This leads us to 3 fundamental questions. First, who is the chief architect and beneficiary of this system? Second, how exactly does the money printing press work, eroding the value of our money? And third, the most crucial, are there real tools capable of protecting our savings from this legalized robbery? Here's the first part of the answer you need to grasp right now. The modern financial system punishes those who hold cash and rewards asset owners. Money isn't wealth. It's merely melting ice, a medium of exchange that is deliberately devalued. True wealth lies in a stake in a business, in real estate, in technology. It's what produces value, rather than simply measuring it. Understanding this fundamental difference is the first step toward genuine financial security. But this understanding isn't enough. It's like knowing you're being targeted but not knowing where the shots are coming from or what weapon is being used. The root of the problem lies in the mathematics of national debt. When a government spends more than it collects in taxes, it creates a deficit. This deficit is covered by issuing bonds, which is to say, debt. And the most effective way to deal with this mountain of debt isn't to repay it, but to devalue it. Inflation isn't a side effect. It's a quiet and legal instrument for defaulting on domestic obligations. Here's how this works at your level. 10 years ago, with 1,000 rubles, you could buy, say, 20 cups of coffee. Today, maybe 10. The coffee hasn't gotten twice as good, nor have the coffee machines become twice as complex. Your 1,000 rubles simply lost half of their purchasing power. They were diluted by new money, created out of thin air to cover someone else's promises. Your savings are collateral for a loan you never took out. Remember your last trip to the grocery store. You look at the receipt and catch yourself thinking, I bought the same set of groceries as last month, but the total is higher. This isn't the greed of a specific vendor. It's the echo of the money printing press at work. Every new ruble introduced into the system makes all existing rubles a microcent cheaper, and you pay for that at the checkout. In this reality, the system encourages debt, but not all debt. There's bad debt, a credit card for a new phone, a consumer loan for a vacation. These are financial shackles. They acquire liabilities that lose value every day. But there's also good debt. This is a loan to purchase an asset, an apartment for rent, equipment for a business. It's leverage that uses inflation to your advantage. You borrow expensive money today to repay cheap money tomorrow. This shatters a major 20th century myth, the myth of stable employment as a synonym for security. Your salary is the riskiest financial instrument. Its growth almost always lags behind real inflation, especially asset inflation. While your income might be indexed by 5% a year, the cost of the home you want to buy grows by 15%. A stable job is a ticket on a slowly sinking ship. You're rowing with all your might just to stay in place. And all these mechanisms, the devaluation of money, the encouragement of good debt, the illusion of a stable salary, are managed by an invisible hand. But this isn't Adam Smith's market hand. These are very specific institutions led by very real people. They aren't evil geniuses from spy movies. They simply operate within a system they themselves created. To understand how to break free, we must first look into the very heart of this machine, the place where money is born from nothing. This place is the central bank, but it's not a gold vault like in old movies. It's more like a server room where reality is adjusted with a few keystrokes. Here, money isn't printed in the traditional sense. Instead, reserves are created. This grants commercial banks the license to create debt, and that debt becomes the money in your pocket. They don't create wealth, they create liabilities that we all must service. This is precisely what devalues your labor. You work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You take overtime. You look for side jobs. You try to increase your income by 10%. At the very same time, a committee of 12 people can increase the money supply by $1 trillion in a single hour. It's your sweat against their printer. This is a mathematically losing battle. You cannot earn money faster than they can devalue it. Imagine the economy as an online game. You spend hours completing quests to accumulate 100 gold coins. Meanwhile, the game administrator simply enters a command into the console and creates 1,000,000 coins for their friends. Your 100 coins are now almost worthless. You can't win by doing more quests. The only way to win is to stop hoarding coins and start buying assets within the game whose quantity the administrator cannot change. This breeds a quiet despair, a feeling that you're running in place. You do everything right, just as your parents taught you. You get an education, you build a career, you save money, yet financial security feels like a desert horizon. The faster you run towards it, the further it recedes. This isn't burnout from work. It's burnout from the futility of effort within a broken system. And this is where the main shift occurs. The problem isn't just with them, it's with our reaction. We continue to play their game by their rules. We try to earn more melting money instead of changing the very goal of the game. The goal isn't to accumulate money. The goal is to exit the monetary system and enter the asset system. This isn't a rebellion. It's a personal economic evacuation. But this evacuation doesn't begin with buying stocks or Bitcoin. It starts with dismantling the main mental trap set by the system, the trap that says inaction equals safety. For decades, we've been taught that the safest path is to put money into a deposit account and avoid risk. This is the most destructive lie we've believed, because in a world where money is melting, inaction isn't a neutral position. It's a guaranteed 100% loss. This fear of making a mistake is paralyzing. You're afraid to buy the wrong asset, afraid to enter the market at its peak and lose everything. The system deliberately makes investing seem like a casino. It inundates you with news of crashes and scammers. And this fear compels you to choose the familiar evil, inflation, over an unfamiliar opportunity. You prefer to slowly sink in a swamp because you're afraid to step onto solid yet unknown ground. Think about how many times you've read an article about promising stocks and did nothing. How many times have you told yourself, I need to look into this, and put it off until next month? Each such delayed step is a small victory for the system over you. It's a quiet voice in your head whispering, not yet, too complicated, later. This voice isn't yours. It's the voice of fear that the system has implanted within you. This fear often masquerades as rationality, termed analysis paralysis. Well, you watch hundreds of hours of videos, read dozens of books, build complex Excel spreadsheets. You try to find the perfect entry point, the ideal asset, a 100% guarantee. But it doesn't exist. This is a trap. The endless pursuit of information is the most sophisticated form of inaction. It's an illusion of control that conceals the same paralyzing dread. But knowledge without action is just informational noise. Understanding the rules of the game doesn't make you a winner. To escape, you need a strategy. And the next steps we'll discuss aren't philosophy. They are engineering protocols, concrete, actionable steps you can start taking tomorrow. We're moving from diagnosing the illness to a course of treatment, from a minefield map to a safe route. The first protocol is to create a personal treasury. This isn't a metaphor. It's a financial mechanism consisting of 3 clearly separated streams. The first is your operating account. This is where your salary arrives and from where you pay for food and housing. It's a buffer for current living expenses. The second is your emergency fund, your 3 to 6 month safety net. These funds are untouchable. They are kept separate and prevent you from having to sell assets during a crisis. The third and most important is your investment account. This is your offensive capital. The tool for this is ruthless automation. You set it up once, and it works for you forever. On the first of every month, on payday, the system automatically transfers 10% of your income to your emergency fund and another 20% to your investment account. This isn't a matter of willpower. It's a law of physics you've established for your money. You pay yourself first, not after all expenses, but before them. You remove emotions and doubts from the equation. The machine simply executes the command. Now see how this changes the debt game. Your investment account isn't just a piggy bank, it's an arsenal for acquiring assets. You're not saving for a car, you're saving for a down payment on a small warehouse that you'll rent out. You borrow 100,000 depreciating rubles from the bank today to repay a debt whose purchasing power has been eaten away by inflation 5 years from now, and the asset that will remain with you and generate cash flow. You've turned inflation from an enemy into an ally. This necessitates a rigorous audit of your life. Right now, mentally divide everything you own into 2 columns, assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. Your car, requiring gas and repairs, is a liability. Your new phone bought on credit is a liability. Even the apartment you live in, as long as you're paying a mortgage and utilities, is a liability. A true asset is something that works while you sleep. The purpose of this audit is to shift focus from the income you earn to the income your assets generate. Your salary doesn't scale. To earn twice as much, you'd need to work twice as hard or become twice as valuable, which is nearly impossible. Income from an asset scales. You can buy 1 share that pays dividends, or you can buy 1,000. The result grows exponentially, while your effort does not. This is how you escape the rat race. And all of this, account separation, automation, managing debt, purchasing assets, serves one single purpose. It's not about accumulating millions and buying a yacht. It's about buying the most scarce commodity in the universe, your own time. It's about creating a machine that generates enough passive income to cover your basic expenses. This is the point where you stop being a slave to your paycheck. It's not a dream. It's a solvable engineering problem. However, this engineering problem has several layers of complexity. We've built the financial framework of accounts and automation. Now, we'll fill it with assets that cannot be confiscated. The first such asset is your knowledge. Not a diploma, but a practical skill that solves an expensive problem, the ability to write code, negotiate, or set up advertising campaigns. This is an asset you carry in your head. Inflation cannot devalue it. A crisis only increases demand for it. Every hour spent learning is an investment with infinite returns. The second invisible asset is your network of contacts. This isn't the number of friends on social media. It's a group of people who trust your expertise. It's access to information not published in the news. It's the ability to secure capital or find a client with a single phone call. The system is built on information asymmetry. Your network is your personal intelligence department. It gives you an advantage in time and knowledge, transforming your individual intellect into a collective one. The third asset is your personal brand. This isn't a logo or a beautiful website. It's your reputation, digitized and scaled. It's the reason people seek you out, rather than you seeking them. When you publish an expert article, record a podcast, or speak at a conference, you're minting a coin of trust. This coin trades on the market of opportunities. A strong brand is a magnet for the best projects and partners. It works for you 24 hours a day, even when you sleep. And here's how these 3 elements merge into a single mechanism. Your knowledge allows you to create value. Your brand broadcasts this value to the world, attracting opportunities. Your network of contacts enables you to monetize these opportunities with maximum efficiency. This is a closed loop, generating capital. Knowledge is your factory. Your brand is your marketing department. Your network is your sales department. This is the second version of your treasury. It's protected from inflation, crises, and political decisions because it cannot be taken away. It is you. Here's your protocol for the next 100 days. First, create 3 accounts: living, emergency, and investment. Second, set up an automatic transfer of 30% of your income to your emergency and investment accounts. Third, every day, invest 1 hour in a skill, 1 hour in your network, and 1 hour in content creation. This is non-negotiable. This is your new standard operating procedure. Direct 90% of your efforts toward creating invisible assets and 10% toward everything else. This isn't a sprint, it's the beginning of a new life. Ultimately, you're not just building a portfolio, you're building personal economic sovereignty. This is a system that thrives on chaos rather than fearing it. Inflation becomes your fuel. Crisis becomes your opportunity. You exit the game where you were a pawn on the board and create your own game with your own rules. Now you know the protocol. The question isn't whether it works, it's whether you will act. We've covered the three invisible assets: knowledge, network, and brand. Write just one word in the comments. What will you start with tomorrow? Knowledge, network, or brand? Just one word.